Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening to us from. We hope you're well. We are back with a bang. This is the EPL Show, formerly known as On the Volley, here with more information, more stats, more chat than ever before. It's me, Nick Slade, and my number one, Gary Montague. Morning, Gary. How are you? Afternoon. Where are you? How are you?
Well, it's afternoon for me. Obviously, it's morning for you. So, yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, good. Thank God I've got the most of the working week out of the way, and now we can actually get on with watching some football now the stupid internationals are finished.
Concentrate on the real stuff. Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a torrid, Fernando torrid 10 days.
It's been punishing.
2 weeks, isn't it?
Punishing.
Oh, it has. Has it really been 2 weeks? Honestly,
Yeah,
the
last time Arsenal lost, because I don't base it on when last time Arsenal played. Last time Arsenal lost was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so
it was. Do you sometimes think that the international break gives a team like you a bit of respite? Maybe the international break came at the right time. I mean, it couldn't have got much worse. And this is by no means a bash the Arsenal. I'll never do that. But honestly, you've got to be looking forward to tomorrow, haven't you? To turn things round, to turn the ship.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll get to Arsenal. Obviously, Arsenal's the second game up on the list. But what we're going to do, obviously, is we're going to.
It's just a general question about your general level of mood as we look ahead.
I mean,
look at that background.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try and change the background every week to be less biased. So I do have a box of football shirts somewhere, but unfortunately they're about 120 miles away. So it's a bit difficult to put a different one up at the moment. But so that's all I got.
Well, mine are 8,000 kilometers away, mate. So if you're trying to upstage me like Lynn and Jill with that snazzy hairdo, then if you're trying to upstage me with your background, then I think you're going to win. You're going to pull it off because that is all I've got. But
no, and it says Bashford.
I mean, you can't really get much better, can you?
Anyway,
Bashford, Marcus Bashford. I tell you what, it's still sweating from this morning. Still sweating from an early morning 6-a-side.
Right.
So yeah, so here we go then. This is the dross that is international football's out of the way, and then the real stuff obviously gets going tomorrow lunchtime. So are we doing a fly through of all the games?
Yeah, we're going to. Obviously, first up is Crystal Palace against Tottenham. Tottenham,
yeah,
as you know, 3 out of 3 wins. Exciting 1-0 wins all the way, which is no problem because if that's the way he wants to play. But so that's a tricky one at Palace. I mean, Palace probably everyone's a bit.
Is that?
Well, I'd say that everyone's a bit underwhelmed by Palace, but I mean, do you think Patrick Vieira enjoy getting one over on Tottenham or not?
I think he will. I think he will just as much as you would. I mean, that opening line to open up the fixtures with sort of slide dig at Tottenham. Is that because you're literally at opposite end of the tables?
Who had a slide?
Yeah, I think.
There's nothing wrong with 1-0 wins. I supported Arsenal under George Graham. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So.
I know. No, well, you take it. You take it.
No, I don't know what this
got out of jail against.
Obviously, everyone probably expecting Tottenham to just go there and beat Palace, but obviously Palace had a good result in their last game. I thought at West Ham, they come from behind twice, I believe, and that's not an easy place to go, is it? West Ham, and they got a point there.
No, it's not. And they literally slammed the brakes on West Ham's charge at the moment because obviously, they were almost going to be sitting pretty as well with 9 points after 3 games. And obviously Palace, so they've done, it's Palace's tour of the league leaders, isn't it? After that result against West Ham, they obviously go to Spurs, or they entertain Spurs, I should say. And it'd be an interesting one. I think watching a documentary, it was an audience with, you've probably seen it, with Neville and Keane last night. And the one that was sponsored by Cadbury's, it's brilliant viewing. It's 2 hours of just smiling television. And basically Keane, they're chatting about the treble years and stuff and all. And the sort of animosity that Ferguson sometimes created, despite being the wonderful man manager that he's perceived to be. Anyway, the point I'm talking about, or the reason I'm talking about this, is because he talks about passion, and he talks about his preparation pre-match. And you mentioned Vieira then, and I think he's going to be. It's an added extra, isn't it? The added motivation to get one over on Spurs. Because obviously so long a gunner. One of the most famous gunners in your history.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's an opportunity to take a team that he's managing.
Obviously that doesn't
up against Spurs.
It doesn't really mean too much because he doesn't go on the pitch. You haven't got 11 Patrick Vieira's on the pitch, otherwise Palace might give him a good game. But what I'm saying is,
sure, they might exactly steamroll Spurs.
Will that transmit into his players? I don't know. Because Patrick Vieira, I think they said his third favourite to be the first manager, but he's sacked. So
wow.
He's under a little bit of pressure already. I mean, all right, they've got 2 points. They drew with Brentford and drew with West Ham and lost to Chelsea. So, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, if they'd have beaten Brentford, it would have been a pretty decent start, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So,
they've got 2 draws.
I don't know. I think most people think that Tottenham are just going to go there and blow them away. I don't know. I think it'll be a bit tighter. I think possibly it could be a draw for me, but there you go. What do you think? Well,
I don't think Spurs are going to blow anyone away at the moment. I think the way that they've got, they've got a good manager. They've got what I would call a real modern day manager on the up. I haven't obviously got rid of JM, and and they're sitting there at the top of the league, 3 games, but they haven't exactly, they're kind of flattered to deceive. I mean, they're not exactly blowing teams away, and it'll be interesting. Obviously, got a great result against City on the opening day, but this will be a really interesting game, and I don't think by any means Spurs will. I don't think Spurs will have it easy. I think Vieira will set his team up well. I think, as you say, after the defeat on the opening day, they've come back pretty strong, and and then obviously they've got 2 draws to accompany that defeat on the opening day, and I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be another draw, if I'm honest. Yeah. I think Spurs will drop their first point of the season tomorrow.
I know we like taking a look at the odds. I'm just looking at the odds for the game. The bookies have got Tottenham as evens favourite and Palace at 3-1, 9-4 on the draw. So the bookies can't really. The bookies obviously slightly fancy Tottenham, but there's value in all 3.
Sure.
All 3 there. So you're going for a draw. I'm going for a draw. Interesting. Okay, so obviously.
Sure. Well, I think it'd be interesting. It'll be a good game after the international break, and I think it's been a fantastic start to the season. Brilliant 3 match days that we've had already, and we obviously we waited 2 weeks for domestic football to come back, and it's an appetising game to get stuck into lunchtime tomorrow.
Yeah, for you. And then the first one up,
breakfast time,
purely alphabetically. At 3 o'clock on Saturday is Arsenal v Norwich.
Basement battle.
I'm going to let you lead with this one because it's a basement battle.
Yeah. Well, it's a basement battle for one team that is perhaps more accustomed to being basement battles. Arsenal, joke. Norwich, and this is we just talked then about I just said before about turning the ship. I mean, this has to be the game that Arteta turns things around for him. And you and I talked yesterday about the fact that it's probably too late, and they're probably behind the scenes working on a replacement already. I think, like we talked about yesterday, it could be 5-0, but it just papers over the cracks, doesn't it? If it is 5-0. It's a good time, like we talked about yesterday again. Farke takes his boys to the Gunners, and it's a great time to play Arsenal, isn't it? It's an opportunity to continue their misery, and obviously Norwich are in a position that they're going to be familiar with throughout the season. I think. I don't think they go to Arsenal thinking this is where we look at getting 3 points, but in current form, I think if Norwich had played Arsenal before the international break, they might have fancied the chance even more. I think the fact that we've had 2 weeks to get their heads together, get preparations right to go again, I think that could work in Arsenal's favour. If you're asking me for a prediction, I'd say 3-1. 3-1. 3-1 Arsenal.
Well, obviously there's massive,
but by no means
massive pressure on Arsenal for this game. Massive, yeah.
Cool.
On Arsenal, particularly on Arteta, on Edu, on the players, because if, for example, Norwich got in front, it would be carnage at that place. And I think it would be, because I've been listening to a lot of other podcasts and videos and that sort of thing. I can't find one, maybe the odd optimist, but I can't find anyone in support of Arteta at the moment. Yeah. So if it does go a bit naughty early, it's going to be interesting to say the least, So he's on a fine.
Yeah, I mean,
at the moment.
Yeah, skating on thin ice. I mean, or maybe it's too late, as we said before.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, my question would be to you, Arsenal fan, massive Arsenal fan, just quickly, you can say, do you think the mentality with Arsenal, say they go behind 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, have Arsenal got the mentality to turn it around, to get back in the game and then say, look, this is the turning point? Or do you think that they're mentally shot? Do you think they're mentally affected so much that it's too much to ask? Do you think if Norwich get one, you can see them getting 2 or 3, like Brentford went on to get another one?
I'm not sure that would happen, but I've been talking to an Arsenal supporter friend of mine we've been looking back over the last sort of 10, 15 years. We're looking for that decline. And that has been a problem for Arsenal for the last at least 10 years, at least. And so anyone thinking, oh, this is a new problem or whatever, obviously you go back 10 years and look at Arsenal's team in 2012, 2013, it's shocking. We're playing players like Bentner, Shamak, Danielson, Alex Song. I mean, this is the team then, and people, this is how long the decline's been going on for. And what you were talking about there, as in characters, people who drive you forward and demand more from your players, from their teammates. We haven't got any of them and haven't had any of them for a long, long time. So in regards to if Norwich go in front, do the heads go down? Quite possibly. There's also, I don't know whether you saw this today, but Matt Letizia has come out and he said that he knows someone on the inside in Arsenal, and he says the dressing room's the problem. Yeah, right. So, but if the dressing room's the problem, then clearly the manager's the problem, because if the manager's not demanding the respect of the players, that's where the problem is.
Yeah, I mean, I look back and see, we'll talk about the games in a moment, but one of the talking points was the fact that Pochettino got sacked from Spurs, and he just taken to the Champions League final. But then things started to kind of unravel, and the mentality, the attitude was questioned, and Spurs have been mentally affected by the defeat in Madrid in the Champions League final. You think Arsenal's decline, like you talked about, Arteta's doing really, really well to still be in this job, I think. I mean, it's okay to say, look, we tried. It didn't work, inexperience. I mean, remember, you're going up against teams, and I don't like to talk about it, but we have to be honest, up against City with the power, the squad, the money, the ability to just splash out and whatever, construct this team, and Guardiola at the helm. You're signing in it, and Arsenal are a massive club. And, I'm just chatting to people here this week, and, the main clubs that spring to mind when people talk about English football, Arsenal always get mentioned, so therefore the Arsenal board have surely got to look at it and say, right, we're going to give Arteta a chance, but we don't want to get left behind, because we're going to get left behind by City, and well, obviously we'll see what happens with the return of, Ronnie tomorrow, and will we be challenging? But it's, you can't be so romantic. I know we're spending a bit. I think it's Solskjaer.
We'll spend a bit of time.
Yeah.
I apologise for that, but you've got to say it's probably the biggest story of the season so far, with Arsenal, the shocking start they've made. Yeah, so I think most fans are talking about it. One of the things that I wanted to sort of mention was a lot of Arsenal fans say, but it shows how good a job Wenger did, to keep them fourth when he had a shocking team and that sort of thing. Another thing a friend of mine pointed out was the opposition were poor then as well. If you look back 10 years ago, the only real opposition for Arsenal then was Chelsea, Man United, and possibly occasionally Tottenham, because Man City weren't there yet, were they? They were up and coming, but they weren't there yet. Liverpool was shocking, So these clubs have not only caught Arsenal up, but they've gone way beyond them. And so people saying, "Oh, Wenger shows how good he was." No, the other teams were crap.
Exactly. You have to take this into consideration. It's like, in football, you've got two sides. And then, in sport, the definition of sport, one is going to be better than the other. They might be very, very level. You might get, hence that's why a draw exists. But generally, if you lose a game, there's a very good chance it's because the other team was just better. And in that period that you mentioned, like I said, what was the quality of the opposition?
Yeah,
and that's so important.
Have
Now,
like I said, have a look back at it.
Yeah. Enjoy Arsenal YouTube Arsenal from the 90s. It was
yeah.
well
Anyway, look, we've got to stop talking about Arsenal.
Yeah.
We can talk all day about them, but
Sure.
let's talk about Norwich briefly. They've come up and they've had a very tough start, haven't they? They played Man City, Liverpool, and Leicester. And to be fair, the Leicester game, I think they were unlucky, weren't they? They possibly should have got something out of that. Liverpool blew them away. Man City blew them away.
Yeah, very tough, very tough. And again, harping back to Arsenal, look at the bottom three at the moment. Wolves, Norwich, and Arsenal. Wolves have actually performed very well. We'll come on to them. Norwich have performed well against teams that, let's face it, on paper, most likely going to lose to City, and they did. They got hammered. Yeah. And then, of course, Leicester. Let's face it, Leicester FA Cup winners, not just FA Cup winners, but will spend the majority of the season in the top six, probably. So, very good team. And of course, Arsenal, we talked about them. So Norwich, yeah, and I like him. Pukki again, he's a threat, he's a handful, and they've got, they held on to Todd Cantwell. Impressed by him. They've got some good players, and they're, excellent manager. I know we talked about this at Christmas when we did the first show. Managers that stick with their teams, that stick with their managers, despite the fact they might get relegated. He comes straight back up with Norwich. And just great to see the Canaries back in the Premier League. And again, you think about the quality of clubs, really, in the size of clubs. Man City, Leicester, and Arsenal in the first three of the first four games that they've had. They've had a tough start. Yeah, so they've. Who knows? They'll fancy themselves tomorrow because of the reasons we just.
I'm not going to make a prediction on tomorrow, but the bookies have got Arsenal at 9-20, and Norwich at 6-1. So. I would not be putting anything on Arsenal at 1-2. So,
no. Anyway, it's not a bad bet for Norwich. It's not a bad bet for Norwich.
6-1, yeah. Next one up, mate, is Brentford Brighton. This is an interesting one, isn't it? Brentford obviously had
Brighton, yeah,
a pretty decent start. Obviously beating Arsenal, drawing with Palace, and drawing with Villa. Brighton, strange result for them, losing 2-0 at home to Everton. But obviously they beat Watford and Burnley. So what do you make of this one?
Well, 10th against 8th, respectively. Good starts of both teams. Solid start. Obviously, a big win for Brentford on the opening night. Obviously, they haven't added to that in terms of victories. But they're a fairy tale. And obviously, the first time back in the big time since 1947, I think it is. They got big Ivan up front. He's a handful. He's already got his first Premier League goal. But again, against an entertaining Brighton side with a good manager, they've got two wins already, and look a good side, good footballing side. Be a really good game. I mean, again, we'll talk about the international break and how excited we are about getting the Premier League show back, or the schedule back. And it's just one game after. It's like the World Cup, where you've just got one mouth-watering prospect after another. And Brighton go to Brentford tomorrow in good shape. And be an interesting game, difficult one to call. I can see Brighton winning. I can see Brentford winning. Or it could be a draw, which is probably the most on-the-fence response.
I don't know.
The most on-the-fence response you can get.
I mean, to be fair, you look at it. I mean, Brentford, like I said, they battered Arsenal first game. A good result, I think. I think they played quite well at Palace, as far as I remember. And obviously, not an easy place to go, Villa Park, and they got a decent draw there as well. But Brighton, I watched them against Watford. One of the other promoted sides. They were very much in control. It was a very easy game, I felt, for Brighton that day.
The first game, of course, they went to Turf Moor to get the first victory against Burnley.
But I didn't watch that one, but I watched the whole of the Watford one, and it was very comfortable. It was Brighton got ahead early. They could have had a couple more goals, actually, but I don't know where this one's going. I can't predict this one. I mean, the bookies are
very difficult to call.
They've got Brentford at 9-5, Brighton at 13-8. So slight favourites, Brighton. What about Neil Maupay going back to Brentford and scoring? How do you feel about that one? Do you reckon that'll happen?
Back to his Hawks alley. There's lots of little subplots in this one, and yeah, it'd be an interesting one. When you go back and remind them of what they're missing, or obviously not missing too much. Obviously, they've replaced him with Big Tony. Yeah, it'd be a really interesting one. I think I can see again. It's so easy to sit on the fence with this one because any result is. I mean, obviously, the three results are possible, and with certain games you look at them and you say, no, there's no way you can see, the home team getting a result or the away team getting a result in this one. Whereas with this one, I genuinely do think that Potter could take his team there, and then they could do the same job as you say, very comfortable against Watford. They could be very comfortable if they take control of the game against Brentford. This would be a really interesting one.
Yeah,
I would say.
I think it's their second.
I'm going to say
home game, isn't it? So the stadium.
Yeah, I'm going to say 1-1.
Nice stadium there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
The next 3 o'clock kickoff is Leicester Man City. Now, I'll just quickly. They've got Leicester at 5-1, the bookies, and Man City at 4-7. So obviously they're massively fancy Man City, but I don't think this is as easy as that, is it? I don't know.
Easy for
Man City going to Leicester. I mean, you'd expect them to win.
I don't think you would expect them to win. I don't. I mean, obviously, I think Leicester are just getting going. I think I'm a big fan of Patson Daka, the Zambian. He's made some really good signings actually. He's
As usual,
explored the African market. Yeah, he's made some great signings, and he's delved into the African market, and he's got options. He's got I think always Leicester are a threat. I don't see this being easy at all for City. It's obviously at 3 o'clock in England. It's a sort of game you almost expect to be on, live on the TV a little bit later on. It's especially after the international break. I think Rodgers probably not as happy with the start. I mean, he's obviously got 2 wins out of 3, but I think he'd look at this and think, let's try and get something from this, of course. And he's got options. He's got a very good squad that he's put together. I can see Leicester doing very well. Like I said, I can see them in the top 6 for most of the season. And no, I mean, on paper, yeah, probably what the bookie's saying for City. I mean, probably, they've got them down as favourites, but
4-7. So
no, this is a good opportunity for. I cannot see Leicester getting steamrolled at home by many things, let alone. I said, let alone City probably isn't an appropriate one. Interesting one with this one. Obviously, return of after the international break, the sort of game that they'll be champing at the bit to get stuck into.
Absolutely. I mean, City obviously lost their first game at Tottenham, didn't they? And then they've had 2 easy home games playing the bottom 2 and beating them both 5-0. Now they go to Leicester. I don't know. I mean, and the Leicester game that I watched was when they played West Ham, and they lost 4-1. I mean, that was a bit deceptive, because it was 2-0 for a while. West Ham got in front and they were looking pretty comfortable, and obviously Leicester had 10 men. They had Soyuncu sent off, I believe. Was it Soyuncu?
Yeah.
Well,
I think he got sent off for Turkey as well.
They got a goal back, 2-1. It looked interesting at that. They didn't look out of it with 10 men, is what I'm trying to say here. And obviously West Ham got a couple of cracking goals for Antonio, who we'll come on to.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. Obviously I'm gonna say Man City will win because they're, I don't know, they're just that sort of team. But I wouldn't rule Leicester out. But there you go.
I'm going for 3-2. I think this will be 3-2 to Leicester.
Yeah,
I do. I think it'll be. I do. I think it was a restart after. Yeah, I would. I just think as well. We talked about this yesterday, and it's been so chaotic. International football and COVID and stuff. I think Man City will feel the disruptions. I'm not sure how many players they've lost or how many players did depart on international duty. But I can see Leicester looking at this thinking, let's not just match them up. Let's try and get 3 points. And I can see this being 3-2. I mean, that's a pretty precise scoreline, but we will see.
That's worth a few quid. And obviously, we'll move on to the next game alphabetically. Manchester United against Newcastle. Clearly, being a Man United fan, you'll be expecting. I mean, the bookies have got them at 2-11, so a little bit over 1-5. Newcastle 14-1 if you fancy Newcastle, right? No hope. Newcastle no hope in this, have they? What do you reckon?
Well,
1-0.
I'm sure one of my best mates is listening, and he'll crucify me for saying that the Newcastle got no hope. So this one's for you, Al. They've got a chance. In reality,
I got 14-1.
I mean, the fairy tale is 6-1 to draw. You see, I mean, do you know what I saw this morning at breakfast? That Solskjaer said Ronaldo will play a part, and straight away I thought, don't just let him play a part. Stick him on from the beginning, okay? Because I don't like that, and I'm a massive fan of Solskjaer. Maybe he's just playing games with the media, who knows? But Ronaldo has to start. It's as simple as that. Yeah. You know, I mean, he is. He doesn't need a rest. He hasn't come for a holiday. We've heard all that. But this is an opportunity. This could be 6-0, and he could get 4. But this is football. You know, and predicting football results is one of the most impossible things one can do. Yeah. He could get 3, 3-0 win. Who knows? But he's going to make his mark, I think. I think the first time they made his debut in England, he was obviously this kind of one-trick pony, or he didn't have the discipline, etc. He has scored goals as long as you and I were in Spain, and I was in Spain a long time. He would score goals in every single game. He went to Juve and he scores goals almost in every single game. He's got Newcastle at home, but it's United's first game with Ronaldo, so I'm not quite sure how to use him yet. We've got a lot of players in the team that were playing some really good stuff, certainly against Leeds. And it was a great start to the season. Now we've got Ronaldo, and it's like, what happens to the other players? Jadon Sancho must be thinking, well, that was my opportunity to be the main guy on the wings. So I'm excited. I can't wait. I mean, it's literally.
Yeah, I'm sure you can't. I can't get enough of this. It must be like waiting for the Harlem Globetrotters to come out, with the players that you get. Just out of interest, quickly, and this isn't me digging or anything. When's United's first game against one of the other title challengers? Because they haven't played it. I'm not being funny about who they've played, but they haven't played anyone yet, have they? Properly.
Of any stellar note.
I mean,
what I would say is that one of the rules in this show, guys, that we when you're going to ask me a question like that, make sure that we prep it before.
I thought being a Man United fan, you might know this.
Of course I know it. Mid-October, we've got Leicester, one of the big 6. But remember, if Leicester. But if we're talking about big 6, maybe Leicester replacing Arsenal, so you won't like the sound of that.
Oh God,
big 7. Big 6. One of the big guns. Let's say it's a good question, and I do know the answer. Mid-October.
I've got the answer here now. They play Liverpool on the 24th of October.
There we go. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. The Premier League wanted to win it, don't they? Anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, it gets difficult. It's a 38-game season. You can't say that because then we're going to have difficult periods for the rest of the season. Ultimately, the mentality has to be that we don't care. Now that we've got Ronaldo, who's essentially, if he scores 30 goals, looking at his stats, I don't think he's had a season where he hasn't scored about at least 30 goals. Now, if that is true, and we can even if we ask the listeners to call in and correct me, I can't remember in 12, 13 years of following him, scoring less than 30 goals in a season. So if we get that, throw in a few more goals from other players, your Cavani's, still we expect 20 goals from him maybe as well, then we should be up there. Like we talked about yesterday, we should be challenging. So it doesn't matter if we go to Anfield. It doesn't matter if we play Liverpool at Old Trafford. It doesn't matter if we go to City.
It's just a question. You don't have to get touchy about it.
I'm just excited. I can't wait.
And I was going to say, you mentioned their calling in, but obviously, what we're going to have at the bottom of this is comment section where people watching can comment. Sure. They can say whatever they want.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. That would be a nice idea if someone subscribed, or click
be
like.
Be the first to subscribe. Yeah.
Be the first.
Yeah, we'll give. We'll send you a dairy, milk, fruit, and nut if you're the first.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's not a bad idea, that. Okay, so we're both going for United to win 5-0, yeah?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. But it could be double figures. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. Not even sleeping
All
tonight.
right. I mean, let's be fair to any Newcastle fans listening or watching. We didn't literally mention them at all, apart from being whipping boys. So, can we have something about Newcastle that you've seen that you might think that could be a little spark for them, or is there nothing?
I'm gonna throw this in, especially for Al. This one's for you. If you look at Alain Saint-Maximin, ASM,
Yeah,
he's a handful.
yeah,
He's a handful. I'm not. And my question is, they're both French, but has Varane come up against someone like Maximin? Because he looks a real. He does look like head down. You know, he never gets his head up.
Yeah,
That's my impression. Correct me if I'm wrong. He gets to the byline and then he thinks, now what? Now what? Sometimes checks back. Sometimes thinks, I'm going to get back to the byline, check back again, stick the ball in the box, have a shot, might take a deflection, might go in. I like him. He's entertaining.
Like him. Yeah, he's a little bit. How old is he? Do you know?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Maybe he's 24, 20. Let's say 24.
I'm just saying, is he going to? I'm not putting him in the same class as Ronaldo, but obviously when Ronaldo came to United, he was head down doing his little tricks and stuff like that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not putting
Gary Montague suggesting that Alain Saint-Maximin was on a similar trajectory to CR7. Let us know your thoughts. Subscribe.
He didn't let me finish. The point was, will he eventually learn not to do those things where he gets there and doesn't know what to do? He'll get there and know what to do. Is the point I'm making, Or will he always be a headless chicken?
Is Steve Bruce the man to knock it out of him? I mean, Brucey was there at United a few years before Ronaldo and never got the chance to knock it out of Ronaldo, but I think he's been knocked out of Ronaldo and, well, you can't argue these stats, and I just cannot wait. You cannot imagine. I'm 40 years old and I'm so excited.
You know what?
I'd love
for Ronaldo to have gone to Newcastle. You know what I mean? For a challenge. Be great, wouldn't it? Or the other one I think about that went over the sun was Messi, and it annoys me that he went to Paris Saint-Germain. What's the point of going there for him? All right, he's got 6-8 games a season in the Champions League. Go to someone like Newcastle and prove yourself. Do what Maradona did, going to Napoli, winning the league for Napoli. You know what I mean? It just,
totally agree.
You don't need the money.
Totally
go somewhere for the challenge.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, of course. It was as my little bro, my younger brother, should say, reminded me recently. It was a boring transfer. It is a boring transfer.
Awful.
It's not a transfer that makes you think, I can't wait. I mean, in fact, I went to a bar last Saturday, a couple of weeks ago, when he came on against Reims in the French league, and all this sort of paraphernalia and all the euphoria surrounding it, and all the flags waving. This is Messi making his debut in League 1.
Yeah,
and it was just like, it's just a letdown of a transfer.
Just pointless.
And then now you've got Ronaldo on that.
I mean, his alternative would have been to go to Man City, but it's like, why wouldn't you have gone somewhere where, like I say, Newcastle? Imagine him going to Newcastle and he don't need the money, like I said, taking 50 grand a week to play for Newcastle. Imagine that.
Exactly. No, I mean, I think
waste of space.
And one of the things I say about Ronaldo is that he feeds off the jibes, the criticism sometimes. The Messi's better than you, for example. I think Zlatan watched. They asked Zlatan once, who's better, Messi or Ronaldo, and he said Messi. Ronaldo played against Sweden the following night and he scored 4 goals, and he just lives off that. He feeds off that kind of,
for me,
not abuse, but maybe it's the flack. The flack. So he's probably looked at this and thought Messi's not really done himself any favors with this move to Paris Saint-Germain. And he's thinking, I'm going to leave Juventus and I'm going to make a statement. And he's coming back, and of course, there's absolutely no chance he's on holiday. If someone suddenly said, "Oh, look, you've got this chance to sign a guy for 12 million euros or 15 million euros, I think, or whatever it was," and he's going to come back, and he's a 30-goal a year man wherever he goes. I can't believe it. In fact, we've already recovered the transfer fee through shirt sale. So
no, I know.
Can't wait. Good lad, Ronnie, for coming back.
He should. Messi should be wearing black and white of Newcastle. That would have been an interesting game tomorrow. But anyway.
It would. Gary, what have you been eating for breakfast in Wimbledon? I mean, come on. Messi to Newcastle. Sorry, Ronaldo to Newcastle or whatever.
No, Messi, have some nuts and go and play for somewhere where you actually have to, not
exactly.
just.
We're all getting carried away. I'll tell you where they are getting carried away. Or Strasbourg on a Monday night.
Southampton West Ham. This would be an interesting one, wouldn't it? Southampton West Ham.
Speaking of fan euphoria, the Saints will be happy to welcome domestic football back at St Mary's this weekend after the break, and they are entertaining the free-flowing Moyes influenced at the wheel West Ham. What a start they've made. Again, the result against Palace was just a great gritty football result that it was great to see, Palace still in the game, getting equalised, etc. But Moyes, and again, it's not about United, but Moyes has gone on to continue. He's made a name for himself at West Ham. You think about where they were when he took over. And they've got a bit of money. They've got a bit more investment now. They've invested in the team. They've gone straight to the Czech Republic and got the best players from the Czech Republic, which
nothing
is
wrong with that.
Not the most usual. Nothing wrong with that at all. How good is Thomas Suchek? And obviously, what's the guy? Vladimir Kufal, is it?
Yeah. Another one.
Another one. Yeah, they've got another one in the window.
Spartak Moscow, something.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Great signings, and of course, what that's done. And we're not even talking about the main man, the guy that's getting the goals. Mikel Antonio. He's playing himself into Southgate's thoughts. Has to be.
Look, I can't believe you've just brought international football into this.
Sorry. Well, it was more really about just to emphasise the progress he's made. He's a joy to watch, and West Ham in one of the most boring kits are taking the league by storm. And there they are sitting second behind Spurs. Could all change this week.
You're not a fan of a West Ham
kit? I quite like their away kit.
You don't like the old.
No, I quite like the way that Villa have. I like the way that Villa have worked the claret and blue, and Burnley you expect it to be pretty drab. Hey guys, again, this isn't a bash on those teams. Get in touch with us. We want to hear Burnley fans. We want to hear West Ham fans. Not about your choice, your thoughts on the kit, but we want to speak to you soon. We'll have fan shows coming up soon, and you can have a go at me for those comments.
Absolutely, you can call him what you want. Like I said, I watched that West Ham game against Leicester, and the 2 goals by Antonio, I thought they were brilliant. I thought they were great goals. Just determination and strength of the guy. I mean, and he plays with a smile on his face as well. I mean, you see him celebrating with his cardboard cut out after his goal, and that he's just got. I think he beat Di Canio's record in that game as well, didn't he, for Premier League goals? Just brilliant. I love watching West Ham at the moment. And Declan Rice in midfield.
Because he's in fact. They've got it set. They've got a good setup there. They've got great defence. They've got very good defence, and obviously the midfield, as you mentioned, there with Declan Rice, and they've got attacking options. And again they've Ben Rama. He's doing a job as well. He's made some great signings, very astute signings.
Yeah,
and
say that about them having a great defence. They played 3 games. They've scored 10, conceded 5. So
maybe it's a bit more of a cavalier defence than perhaps.
They're just entertainers, I think. Southampton,
giving them credit for, but
they've played 3, scored 4, conceded 6. So there should be goals in this game, shouldn't there?
It should be. Oh yeah, for sure there'll be goals, but I can see West Ham coming out on top. I really can. I think the result that we wanted to get at St Mary's, we didn't get, but I think West Ham will get that result tomorrow. I think they've got too much for Southampton. I think Southampton will spend. I think they'll be a mid-table team this season. Southampton. I think they'll be happy with that. I like the manager.
They've lost the spine of their team, really. But they've sold the spine.
Of course. Of course, Danny Ings as well going to
Leicester. To Leicester.
It's left them a bit threadbare. It's put a lot of pressure on Che Adams to deliver. But they've got be interesting. They've got some good wing backs. but I don't think they'll have enough for West Ham. I
No,
can
well,
see
they've
West
got
Ham winning this comfortably.
just the odds on this. Southampton are 15-8, so just below 2-1. West Ham 7-5,
Yeah.
so the bookies fancy West Ham really, and I think I'm probably the same. I'll probably go for West Ham to sort of win it 2-1, 3-1, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. No, excited. Looking forward to it. The next one's the W Derby. Is that the one we got? You got Watford, West Ham, Watford Wolves. The W Derby, Watford Wolves.
Watford Wolves. Watford up in 12th place. Wolves obviously in 18th place. Wolves are big favourites here. Well, not big favourites, but 5-4. Watford 12-5. So obviously Wolves are the favourites. But what do you reckon?
Well, I mean, Wolves, interesting. They're firm favourites. They're down in the bottom three. We talked about this before. It's a bit of a false position.
Yeah.
They put in a great performance against United. Deserved to get something. Didn't. Against Spurs. Again, I think a 1-0 defeat against Spurs. You can see Bruno Lage, the new Portuguese manager, replaced Nuno. You can see he's building something. You can see he's trying to stamp his identity on the team. He's doing that. They play some nice football. Needs an end product from Traore more than ever. Great to see Raul Jimenez back. Playing with the mentality that he's never been away, but of course, you can understand a very serious injury. So fantastic, he's back playing football. And yeah, again, they've got some good Portuguese players. Moutinho, Neves, they've held on to Neves. I can see Wolves winning, but I can see Watford making it difficult for them. I like what Xisco's doing at Watford. Again, they've made some good signings as well. And another interesting game. How do you see this one going?
Well, obviously, Wolves, I'm just looking at their record. They've got the complete opposite record of what Nuno's got at Tottenham. 3 defeats, all 1-0. And I think, I saw bits of the Man United game with them and the bits of the Tottenham game. They were just I think they were unlucky. They didn't have that cutting edge in front of goal, did they? I mean, Jimenez is back, but is he going to be the same player? We don't know. Traore, another one who's a bit like that St. Maximin, isn't he? Really sort of powerhouse, runs through people, dribbles.
Yes.
Lacks an end product. Watford,
Yeah.
bit of an unknown, really, I think, this season because they have signed so many different players. I'm going to go for a draw in this one. Sorry to sit on the fence, but there you go.
Yeah, I can see Wolves. Getting their first win here. But I was impressed.
First goal as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're certainly creating enough shots.
Yeah,
but enough chances. They just haven't found the net.
Absolutely.
So I think this is the game they'll do that. I'm absolutely no doubts about that. Will it be enough to go on and win the game? But yeah, do you know I'm a big fan of?
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ismaila Sarr at Watford.
Yeah,
big fan. And there's certain players that just stand out, and you think, yeah, he's. He asks questions. I love the way he just attacks the defense.
Yeah.
I think Watford. They might miss the passion, the spirit of Troy Deeney, who's obviously gone to Birmingham. But I think they'll be all right this season. Watford. I can see them staying up. But I can see Wolves getting their first victory of the season tomorrow, and I can see them getting out of the bottom three. We'll see what happens in other results. But the important thing is, Lage will get reward for his effort because I like him, and he's obviously come from come from good stock. He's obviously at Benfica, and Wolves have done well to sign another top Portuguese manager. And I think it's time for the results to start reflecting the performances. Really,
absolutely. The final one.
That's Watford to Wolves.
The final one on Saturday is the 5:30 kickoff, which is obviously a live match here in the UK. Chelsea against Aston Villa. Chelsea big favourites, 2-7. You can get 10-1 on Aston Villa.
This is going to.
You're looking at Chelsea at the moment, and obviously it was a very good performance at Liverpool, being down to 10 men after in the first half. I think he was sent off, wasn't he? A great defensive. It showed their defensive qualities, didn't it? And then obviously, it was an easy game for them against Arsenal, and they destroyed Palace as well. So, how much of a test do you think this is going to be? Aston Villa, they've had a bit of a sort of Won one, drawn one, lost one. You know, I mean, what do you think? How do you think this is going to go?
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I can see with Tuchel, because of Tuchel, I can see Chelsea winning or not losing most games this season.
Yeah, I think so.
And I can see them winning a lot of them.
Very
you know what I mean? Side. And I think, and I'm a big fan of. I was a big fan of Lampard. Again, similar situation to Arteta. You want him to stay. You want him to work out. He's an ex-player. But when they made this change, wow, what a difference! What a difference! He spent 3 games playing relatively dull football, but constructing something. And then since then, he's just thought, let's just build a base. He's got that with the first 3 results when he came in. And then they just went on a long unbeaten run. I think they lost a couple of games, surprise defeat to West Brom last season at home. But you can see that they're really doing something.
Yeah.
And, he's building a squad. I think the return of Lukaku is massive. Obviously, they're at home. They're coming up against Villa, who, will always make a fight of it. And, I like Villa. I've got some good friends that are Villa fans, but just they're a nice team, and they made some. I think the sign of Danny Ings is a great one. He always seems to add something to any team that he goes to. Whether I think Douglas Luiz will be back in the midfield, with John McGinn, and Villa won't make it easy. But again, it's just almost Chelsea, almost one of those teams you put in your accumulator every week. They are. I mean, they've become this team that are solid, very solid. Well organised, obviously decent defender. What a scalp that was, getting Thiago Silva. Still so much to offer. Big fan of Rudiger. He's really brought Rudiger on. He's got the best out of him. Mm-hmm. I don't like to say it, but they've made some good signings, and they're going to be really difficult to beat this season. Chelsea. Wouldn't be surprised if this was similar results to the one against Palace. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 2-0, 3-0. I'd like to see, Villa really go for it, but they might end up getting picked off. Werner.
I personally think if you finish above Chelsea, I think you win the league. If someone finishes above Chelsea.
Yeah. They're either going to be there. They're going to either win it or be second.
I can't see anything other than top 2 for them. Whether they've got enough to go all the way, I don't know. But I mean, it's got, my team aside, it's got to be at least we've got something this year where you can say, well, it's not. It's not just going to be Man City or Liverpool.
Well, I think
you've got Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea,
Man
United.
Great chat, of course.
Sorry?
Yeah. I mean, of course. And I mean, obviously we'll be looking at Liverpool in the next game, but Liverpool, you can't rule them out, but they haven't exactly, strengthened their squad like other squads have. And Chelsea have strengthened theirs. United have strengthened theirs. City, you say, is the team to beat, and don't need to strengthen their team maybe as much as the others. So it's going to be a fantastic title race, and with 35 games to go, Arsenal are still in it, and you cannot rule them out.
105 points. So
we did. Exactly. 105 points to play for. But no, absolutely. And of course, then we move on to Ellen Road, where another. Sorry, moving on to Sunday. First, only one game on Sunday.
Yes.
And then Everton and Burnley finish things up. It is. It's a strange one. Normally, Super Sunday's kind of packed, but Super Sunday literally is only one flag bearer this Sunday, and it's Leeds against Liverpool. Juicy, mouth-watering. I mean, it always is. I think last season, it wasn't the first game of last season, it was 3-3.
It was. It's a good game.
And this, although actually that was at Anfield. Liverpool obviously will be keen to get back after the international break. They picked up 2 wins from the opening 3, of course. They'll go to Leeds. It's just been fantastic. It's just 2 teams, especially Leeds that they can't defend, but you've got two teams attacking each other. I think be an absolute cracker. Cannot wait for this one as well. Bielsa. Yeah. Obviously, Leeds again. They got smashed at United. They picked up they got drawn in there against Everton. And you can see what Bielsa's doing. It's very similar to last season. It's let's entertain. Let's try and keep it tight at the back, but there's no guarantee of that. And let's just try and outscore the opposition against teams. The bigger teams not going to be able to do that, but against the majority of the teams they will. This is not one of them. But I can see, again, this could be 4-1 Liverpool. Could be 3-3. Can't wait. There's going to be goals in it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it actually because last year, as we mentioned there, Liverpool won the first game. It was 4-3, weren't it? Do you remember that game? And
Yeah.
Leeds drew at home with them, but that was sort of April time. So you'd say that I don't know whether Liverpool are in the title then still. I don't know, but would Leeds be disappointed with that draw against Burnley, or do you think they'd be happy with the draw at Burnley? I'm just looking at their results.
I don't think
they've had.
I mean, they're sitting right underneath Palace, and they've got the same results since the start of the season as Palace. The difference is I think Leeds have got more potential. I think they'll be disappointed with that result against Burnley. But you and I have both spoken out about how the international break always comes after 3 games, just when the league's getting going, and it's frustrating. Yeah. It is the way it is, but unless someone changes it. But this is probably Leeds will be thinking, let's turn those draws into wins and let's get going again. A lot of their players will have stayed and wouldn't have travelled, I guess, for the international period. So they've spent those 2 weeks, I'm guessing, preparing for this. And Leeds are the kind of team that they could beat Liverpool Sunday. That's what I mean. It's about potential, and you want to end up winning as many games as you can, obviously, throughout the season. But these teams like Leeds, you think, well, okay, they drew against Burnley, they got a good draw against Everton, but then you think they're gonna steamroll. They'll steamroll a lot of the teams around them this season. And they'll do. Wouldn't be surprised to see them finish top 10.
Well, who do you reckon's going to win them?
I'm going to go with 2-2. I am 2-2. I like these games. Really like these games. 2-2.
Yeah,
I don't think Liverpool will have it easy.
A high scoring draw as well. The final one. Everton Burnley on Monday night. Obviously, we've spoken about a lot of the games. Well, we've spoken all the other games. This is the one that you sort of think, I don't know. Am I really interested in watching Everton? But no disrespect, you know what I mean. But out of all the games, it's like, okay.
Mate, there have been I know it's not exactly like they've left the best to last, is it?
Yeah. What do you think, Everton Burnley? I think go on.
I think this is the sort of thing I can never ever imagine saying Burnley will go into a game favourites necessarily. I just can't picture the two things together. Burnley favourites, but at the same time, I would never. When you're playing Burnley, you can't just accept that you're going to go out there and get the win. You can't just turn up and win. You've got to earn it, and they make it difficult, so difficult for any team. The thing is, it depends on the sort of evolution of the game. So if Everton are going to score first, that might be enough for them to take it on, and they might take the game away from Burnley. That said, even if Everton score first, Burnley are not going to shut up. But Burnley are not going to lay down and be walked all over. So I mean, this could be an opportunity for, even if Burnley score first, that's not to say that they're going to, shut up shop. It's an interesting game, and again, there's so many little subplots this season. The big teams have made big signings. Everton have got a new manager. They've got the manager that won the Champions League with Liverpool. That's created its own story as well. But then football is football, and those Everton fans will love Benitez if he continues to win games. That's all he has to do, just to win football matches. They do or they don't.
No, I don't think they do. They're not happy about him being there at the moment, I don't think.
No. But at the same time, again, you always want to go into the international break in September, this annoying one that comes straight away, with a few wins. However, even if you haven't, the problem is, like you said yesterday on the show, there's another 2 before Christmas, for goodness sake. But anyway, you want teams to build momentum, and I think Everton have got the capability. They've got the possibility to do that. They've got a great centre forward. I think they managed to get rid of James because he seemed to be, stirring trouble. And I think Benitez will look at the next 3 or 4 games and think, right, this is where I need to make my mark. Dyche also will be thinking, look, it'd be good if we're sort of 13th, 14th for the majority of the season, not lower, just to give them that security and that comfort. I don't know, mate. It's difficult to call this one. Could be 2-0 Everton.
You've done well there to make anything of this, you spoke for about 2 minutes there on Everton Burnley, which ain't bad.
About what you were saying is the worst game of the weekend.
It could end up being a Monday night cracker. Let's hope it is. But Everton Burnley, I think. Oh, I can't predict it. I don't know. I'm not. Bookies have got Everton at 7-10, Burnley at 4-1. So clearly Everton are the favourites. But like you said, you never know with Burnley what they're going to do. They might come and just
never know.
They could.
I love them. I absolutely love them.
Who knows?
Absolutely. What a team! I just love the fact that they just every single year. You know what you're going to get with them. A tough match. And they're gonna. They'll know that if they end up 17th, that's all right. They'll go into the next season, back in the Prem again. It's a great story, Burnley. Like I said, it's with the fans back at Turf. More just love seeing fans back.
So that's the games obviously for this week. This weekend. We'll do a review show on it would have to be Tuesday, won't it? So we can look over the games and the highlights and the talking points and that sort of thing.
After the Sure. After the Everton Burnley. Yeah. Great stuff.
I just want to finish with one thing.
I look forward to it. And obviously,
I just want to finish with something about a message. At the moment, obviously, we're sort of up and running, just starting up sort of thing again. But we do have two avid viewers, two young girls from Hertfordshire, Abigail and Scarlett, and they've sent me a message saying that their under 13 girls team, Welling Pegasus, start their season this weekend. They've been moved up to the league above, promoted to Division 3. And so I want to wish them well, and I'm sure you do, Nick. They're playing against a big local rival, against Nebworth Tigresses, I think it is. So I want to say, look, good luck to you girls.
I second that.
I hope you have a great game. Good luck in the new league. And good luck for the season. And let us know how you get on. You can comment below if you want to comment, or you can send us an
best of luck, girls.
Okay.
You know what? So it's Welling Pegasus.
Welling Pegasus, right? Under 13.
Welling Pegasus. Do you know what? In years to come, when people say to you, "What made you start supporting Welling Pegasus?" You can say, "Well, because we heard about them kicking off their campaign on the EPL Show with Gary and Nick, and then the name just stuck." So wherever you are this weekend, well, I'm not sure you can get it on an app, those sort of notifications of that match, but it sounds like an absolute humdinger.
Absolutely.
And that's on Sunday, you said, yeah?
No, that's Saturday. Saturday.
Oh, Saturday. Another game to add to the action-packed Saturday calendar.
Sorry, we didn't.
Well, I will check. You can see up here, you can see just to the, I'll see if ESPN Mexico is showing Welling Pegasus against Nebworth Tigers or Tigresses. So that sounds a bit Spanish, that word, that name.
Isn't it, that?
It is. Well, maybe I'll tell you what, if I go out this afternoon, he's chucking it down now, if you can believe it, in the jungle. If I go out this afternoon and see some girls or blokes wearing a Nebworth Tigress shirt, then we'll send a pic and we'll stick it up on the usual feeds.
Absolutely.
I wish everybody a fantastic weekend. I know you're more excited than ever. There's so much to look forward to this weekend. Super Saturday, Super Sunday, even with just the one game. I bet you can't even wait for the Monday night game after the way we've just built it up. But great to be back. Fantastic emotion that the Premier League brings us. Gary, great to be with you, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll be in touch.
Yes.
Check in again on Tuesday for more and the review. And if you've got any shirts or any shirt ideas that you want us to stick behind us, do let us know. I haven't actually confirmed that with Gary. Maybe you prefer those two legendary shirts behind him.
Like I said, I've got a collection of shirts I'm going to have to get hold of. You'll see a few of them. But anyway, look, everyone enjoy the weekend. Subscribe if you can, comment if you can, press the like if you can. And everyone enjoy the weekend.
Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Happy weekends.